Vertigoaway, Wavelength of My Energy. Vertigoaway, going as Vera or just Vertigo, released their debut album, I'm gonna fuck this up, BS Hof, in late 2019, and later the most popular album in total, Jungle Witch, in 2020. With their most popular song being, you definitely heard this before, Break This Breaking Point 2. Becoming very popular on social media, specifically between the 5-second and 30-second mark. And kind of since that point, and honestly since Vertigoaway's just initial launch, she has been just, creating a bunch of songs with 14 full-length projects being released between 2019 and 2024 that have kind of done, some of them done well. Like I said, Jungle Witch did pretty well, obviously Break This Breaking Point. But nothing really that has gone or reached that level of success nearly. Yeah, now, Wavelength of My Energy is the newest release from Vertigoaway. It's actually been the only album that she's released in the past 2 years, which is, like I said, a bit of a different scale for her. She released Wavelength of My Energy right after her other 2024 album, Galley Inner-Rafe The Well. Now, down in the album here, I'm just gonna say this. Looking at the names of the songs on this album, and also kind of just the general low effort all around the album, it would not surprise me at all if this was a joke album, and it wasn't really, meant to be listened to seriously, let alone critically. So I might just be doing way too much overthinking here and way too much, criticizing, because there's a good chance that this is a joke album, just looking at the names. Some songs like Truly Another Track Where Someone Pisses Herself. What the fuck? The happenstance occurs in an unseemingly manner, power withheld. Above all else, don't think too hard. And this has to be one of the greatest names of a song. It really just, captures the emotion and just the way it's able to touch your heart, right? Fart in your ass, not mine, oh bless. And there's also some other great ones, like sharding about HRT shit and human pussy music, just, great songs. But I don't really care if it's a joke album. It could be, I don't care. Listening to this album front to back for pretty much the majority of it was just waiting for it to be over, actually. So many songs on here, just, they feel like clones of each other. They're very generic hardstyle trance beats with really no spice added to them. And, I enjoy hardstyle, right? I'm a hardstyle enjoyer. My ears are accompanied to the loudness and the speed that comes with this genre, and yet I was getting annoyed and frustrated with the repetitiveness and just, ear-rapey music I was putting myself through while listening to this. Wavelength of My Feelings, Please Feel My Energy. 1. The happenstance occurs in an unseemingly manner, power withheld. Above all else, don't think too hard, oh my god. 2. And Drowning Timeline of the Wavelength. 3 are really the only good songs on this album. And kind of what's shocking to me is that these actually are really good songs. Like, I think that those 3, pretty great, actually. I also think Never Ending is also a pretty good song. It's pretty unique compared to the other songs and just also other hardstyle, so I also would say that one's pretty high. I'd give them at least those songs individually. I'd probably give at least a 7, 9 out of 10. But the thing is, I don't think there's any 6 out of 10s, no 5 out of 10s, no 4 out of 10s on this album. The other, maybe 16 songs on here are maybe 1 to 3 out of 10s. Really brings the album down for me. It's just the low quality of the songs on here. And also, these 4 songs that I mentioned, right, they're either near the start of the album or the end of the album, making just the middle just a massive drag and punishment to listen to. Wavelength of My Feelings, Please Feel My Energy is the opening track on here. It's probably my favorite on here too. It has this nice trance arp starting us off the other track, a nice satisfying bass, making it pretty fun and nice to listen to the album comparatively. Bump the Hardstyle Trance, all caps. It's pretty similar to this. And, as one of the other few tracks on here where the synth and the beat actually work well together and the 808 isn't fighting against the melody. Drowning Timeline of the Wavelength is actually a really good outro song. I quite liked it. It's much slower and more sentimental than any other song on here by a long shot, and it makes, coming out of the album feel like it, just wasn't a way of losing my hearing quicker. And Never Ending, I wanted to come back to Never Ending because I don't really think I talked about it too much. Also is a pretty great song on here. Has this very eerie feel to it, which I quite enjoyed it with a nice melody. But yeah, other than 4, it's kind of just odd. Like I was saying, there's 4 really great songs on here, and everything else is just not worth your listen, at all. I mean, I know that Vertigoaway has made good music I'm not hating on Vertigoaway, right? I have listened to, you know, bits and pieces of other albums. I think they're pretty good, but this was just, you know, it was not it. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give this like a middle of the road 2 out of 10. Not a good listen, but it did have some rare bangers. There were some times I was bopping my head, you know, I did enjoy, few and far between parts of it. And like I said, you know, there's already, you know, I've listened to other songs from Vertigoaway that I do think that are great, so I probably will cover some more of her albums. But besides that, I think that's, yeah, I said everything I want to. Lamau, you out.